Hi, you guys. So I want to re-mention a video that I put out yesterday. Sister Sherry left a comment, and I saw it, I think, this morning. And it's just so funny that she mentioned this. And hopefully she can elaborate on this because she made a comment that she doesn't realize that I have been thinking about something. I made a video yesterday talking about how I had a dream that of this rectangular long missile. I guess that's how I can describe it. It was a craft, but it was a type of probably a missile from everything that I've gotten revelation of. And it was near a building. It was, I mean, like it wasn't even the same height of a tall building, so it was pretty low. I thought it was like a news. You know how they send drones to take aerial pictures and things like that. But for whatever reason, I thought this craft was a news craft that was going to take video. And it was going towards the building. I was like, oh, well, maybe they'll find out. Something was going on with either the building or something was going on. And I was like, well, maybe, they sent this news craft to take pictures or figure out what was going on. Kind of like you're sending a robot to a bomb situation type thing. You don't want to send a human or something, you know what I mean, or a drone. And like I said, it was an aerial device. It was an aerial craft, and it was rectangular. And I shared the story of how a Patriot missile, they believe, fell in Kiev, and perhaps it was jammed by Russia. It didn't make it to where it was going. And that was the first thing that caught my attention. And then the second thing which came out, the U.S. was they're using AI and to do a simulation in this particular drone that they were testing, turned on the operator. And Texas News Studio said it was going to attack. It wasn't following the commands. It was going to attack the operator, but Beckley said that it killed. I'm not sure which one is true. Anyway, so I did look this up. I didn't put in the video last night. I forgot. It is a U.S. The Patriot System is a surface-to-air missile system, which is primarily a U.S. Army, used by the U.S. Army and Allied States. It says the Patriot has been given a function in the U.S. Army's anti-ballistic missile system, and which would make sense why it's there in Ukraine, okay, because they do have our stuff. And these are the wars that it's been used in, okay, Gulf War, Iraq, Israel-Gaza conflict, Syrian civil war, Yemen civil war, Saudi Arabian-led intervention in Yemen, Saudi Arabian and Yemeni border conflict, and the Russia-Ukrainian war, lastly, okay? So this is the comment that Sister Sherry left, and I will make it. She said, wow, remember a sis long time ago had a Patriot sign on her right leg? Then she was raptured? Love you, twin. You guys, I have been thinking, this is when I saw that information, and I talked about how there are many reasons to make me believe that the government has a FF against us, because in the dream I wasn't shown that I was in a different country. I was under the impression that it was our country. So whether or not it was intentional or if it was a mistake, as it was with the AI test that they were trying to do that turned on an operator, I really expect a FF. And this would be the third dream in which I've seen our military attacking us and somebody else being blamed. And specifically, when Sherry mentioned this, she said, I saw there was a sister that had the Patriot sign on her right leg, and then we were raptured. Well, there's a particular dream, I think it was the sudden start to war. It's in my library. I felt like I was in New York on the stoop. My dad wanted me to come see his new restaurant, and a neighbor and a few other people were outside, and there were fighter jets in the air, and it was our fighter jets firing on us. I'm summarizing this because I haven't listened to the video again in a little while. And debris started falling, and we ran up under a overpass type thing that was near the stoops of the apartments or houses, whatever it was. And we ran up underneath the overpass, just trying to escape the debris that was flying, and from some type of aircraft. And like I said, now I wish I watched the dream. I feel like it was our military firing on us or something to that effect, okay? And debris fell down, but I had on a white down puffer coat. It was hot. I knew it was hot. It was like the summertime or, late spring. I knew it was hot. But I had on this puffer, and whatever debris fell, it fell onto the coat, but it didn't burn my skin. Okay? It fell onto the coat. I could feel the heat, but it didn't make contact with my skin. And then in the dream, I had a vision and my eyes are zoomed in on a chariot, carriage type thing. And that made me always believe that we would see a little something as war, but we would be raptured soon after. And I'm missing a part. For whatever reason, during that dream, when I came from underneath the underpass, I wrote on my leg, my right leg. I wrote something on my right leg. I didn't have paper or anything. So I wrote on my skin, on my right leg. And I walked in the house, and I went to go grab a few things for me. Myra wasn't in this dream. I went in the house to grab a few things, like a bug out bag, to make a bug out bag. I went to the freezer. In this part of the dream, it seemed like my townhouse, okay? It was now my townhouse. It wasn't like I was in New York or anything. And I put some Jello pudding pops in the bag, just trying to grab everything. And then I was going to go to the door, and that's when the dream ended. A few parts of that have already come true because my neighbor, she was supposed to move in September, and she did, but she moved to another building. And when things start to come to pass, there was a war that took place. It started in Armenia in September, okay? And I think Brother Paul, now I can't remember his name, Brother Paul, Minister Paul. Minister Paul did a video, and it went along with one of his streams or something. But my neighbor was saying something about September, and a war actually started in September in Armenia. I know Armenia has been mentioned on and off, scattered here and there, with this war in Ukraine and between NATO and Ukraine now. Russia, I don't know how they all fit into the picture, but I've heard them just once or twice in the last couple of years. Also, the pudding pops. Bill Cosby wasn't, his name came out with his his name came up because of his sexual assault allegations. He went to jail, and I think he's coming out, and this and that. But pudding pops. He was known for the Jello pudding pops. Okay, and they don't make them anymore. I was just wondering why this thing was in the dream. Aside from maybe it was a sign that it was a warm time, summertime. Okay. Also, right now, and I'll end this. I have chocolate pudding pops in my refrigerator. Okay. I bought them from Myra about a month ago, and they're still in there. She doesn't want them. But I haven't eaten the chocolate pudding pop since I was in the late 80s or whenever it came out, when it was popular. So, 30 years later, 30 plus years later, I have chocolate pops in my freezer. And when I realized a couple of days ago, I was like, oh, these might be symbolizing the chocolate pudding pops or chocolate pops that were in my dream. And I just kept constantly remembering this. And also my dad came into town, and I saw him yesterday. He didn't want to show me a restaurant. He is in the restaurant business, as I have been in, through the family, through my ex-husband, through our generations. It's in our blood. But he wanted to show me his new beard that he grew out. He doesn't live here, you guys. He lives in Florida, so I don't get to see him often. But again, seeing him yesterday made me think about the dream briefly. Sherry's comment, and just things about things going wrong, and this thing about our government may have, say we're under attack, and it may be somebody else, or it could very well be somebody else. I'm just not ruling out the possibility that our government would do some type of FF on us and say, Russia or China. Okay? It's not out of the realm of possibility. I would totally expect them to do that. And yesterday's stream and the discoveries that I made just made me remember that. All right, you guys, I don't want this video to be too long. You guys stay prayed up. I'm still home. The Lord told me I was going to be home. I worked for 5 weeks, and I'm back home. Okay, if I'm going to be home, that means we must be about to go. Not to say that the Lord won't provide, because he's provided for 3.5, 4 years. But this is totally out of the blue for me, and I just really feel like we just don't have that much longer. Okay, that's also another thing that I try to keep in mind, that I just been feeling like, go play, go spend time with your kids, this, that, and the third. And I'll share another video where I had a 2-moon dream. I've had it weeks ago. I wrote it down, just never made the video. But in that particular dream, I was spending time with my kids. Okay, you guys? I love you guys. Stay prayed up. Stay in God's word. Keep your eyes on Jesus. So many distractions. So many distractions. So many needs. So many attacks. So many health issues. So many problems. We're being squeezed out. Don't forget that we're not supposed to be here. We're just seeing all these things come to pass and come into fruition, just like the word said. Forget about the dreams, just like the word said. Okay, the dreams are just a bonus. The dreams are just a markers that the Lord gives us to give us just spoon by spoon, bits and bits of encouragement, just to let him know that he hadn't forgot about us. Okay, you guys, I love you all. Keep your eye out for our government. They got something up their sleeves. I know it wouldn't be the first time, and I just totally expect them to throw us under the bus. Okay, to have their reset, to have their new world order, to put things in place, you guys. Okay, I love you. I'll talk with you later.